Good evening. Welcome to the special report of Wstc Channel 9 News. Today's topic, improving your life with Maharishi Principles. I'm Amy Edwards.
And I'm Katina Carter. On this report, we will explore the practice of transcendental meditation. We'll talk about what it is and why you should care.
We'll delve further into our program tonight with Wstc Vade. Can architecture really improve your life? Our correspondent, Asia Sumter, is on the case.
We'll wrap up our program tonight with a recap of the important points.
We've got so many fascinating stories, so let's get started with transcendental meditation.
I've never heard of transcendental meditation. What is it?
Well, Katina, I'm glad you asked. Transcendental meditation is a simple practice introduced to the world by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the 1960s. Using this practice, Maharishi spawned a movement that has continued throughout the years. Today, Maharishi University of Management in Fairfield, Iowa, carries on his message. Our own field correspondent, Asia Sumter, decided to visit the school to take a look at transcendental meditation in Fairfield, Iowa. Here's what she found.
Fairfield, Iowa. Population, tiny. It's a small town with a lot of character. But by far one of the most interesting facets of this small town is Maharishi University of Management, a school dedicated to bringing its students to higher levels of consciousness through the practice of transcendental meditation.
I got a lot more peace and quiet. I felt inside, but I didn't know it until I got out of meditation and got into activity. And they always tell beginners that, we pull the bow back, and at first it looks like the arrow is going the wrong direction. You really want to go, and only when you pull it back and let it go, and it hits the target. Anyway, I came out of meditation, and I felt unusually, peaceful and really still. It was quite a blissful experience, and I said, well, I'll go to this party. And I went to this party, and everybody was doing all sorts of things to try to get that blissful experience that I had. And I had no inclination at all to even take a drink.
One major thing was turning off the sort of mind speak that we have going on constantly in everything we do. And it did that very, very well for a college student at the time. And it continues to do it, and along with it, it was very blissful, and it's why I stayed with it so long.
My perception has refined. I hear and see more, and I feel I can understand people way deeper than I ever did, without them talking, just by looking at their faces. And I feel that my intelligence has improved. I can understand things deeper, in more detail. And I feel like I'm more trusting and have more confidence in what's going to come. And that this moment right here is okay, that it's not important what's coming next.
The time when I was 16, when I stopped meditating, because I had such fun being on a wilderness expedition for a month. Great people to be with, great work to do, like heavy physical activity, and then just soaking up the trees, listening to the breeze. Meditation didn't really count to me at that time. And then about a year later, I took the suggestion to start meditating again because I was getting all frantic with this school project and that volunteer thing, and what was I going to do when I went to college? And so my mom said, whenever I feel that way, just realize I should meditate. So I took my mom's advice, and lo and behold, I was able to prioritize, I was able to think clearly, I was able to get my imagination back, which had been frazzled to pieces.
I wanted to know more about this transcendental meditation and its practice. I'm here now with first-year student Erin Hendrickson, who is going to discuss with us what she's learned in her first course about consciousness and TM. Thank you for speaking with me, Aaron. Can you tell me what is absolutely essential about this meditation process for the people that are watching this program today?
Well, like my parents assumed, it's not a cult practice. It is very simple and easy, and all I have to do is sit down for 20 minutes a day, twice a day, and relax. I would have to say that's probably even a bigger point, is that because of this relaxation that I gain, I get so much energy, and I feel like stress is relieved off of my shoulders. And that's, I feel like, the greatest thing that I can say about TM is that it's a wonderful stress reliever, and it gives you energy, and it's just great.
So, can anyone learn this practice of transcendental meditation?
Well, I did. Before I came here, I had no idea about any kind of meditation, and I didn't know how to do it, or if there was a right way to do it or a wrong way to do it. But when I got here, I found out that I was worrying over nothing. It was the most easy thing I have ever done, I guess I could say, because all you have to do is sit down and close your eyes, really. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. It doesn't matter where you come from, or what your background is, or what country you're from. I think it's a great universal practice.
Well, there you have it. Transcendental meditation, a practice brought to the world by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the 1960s, still kept alive today in Fairfield, Iowa. I've learned in my time here that the goal of Maharishi was to create peace around the world. And perhaps peace is closer than we may think. I'm Asia Sumter for WSTC News, Channel 9. Back to you, Katina.
Well, Asia, that segment was certainly enlightening. Coming up next, Stapachevade, the greatest thing in architecture since the arch, right after this. Welcome back to WSTC News. Today's next story, Stapachevade, an approach to architecture that can improve quality of life by utilizing Vedic knowledge. Our own Asia Sumter interviews architect Jonathan Lippman on this intriguing development.
For many Americans, the idea may seem absurd. How can the direction that your home is facing affect your mood, health, or fortune? Based on the homes that stayed standing through the brush fires of Southern California in 2003 and 2007, one might be intrigued. I sat down with Jonathan Lippman to get these.
The ancient text, the Vedic literature on Vastu, covers things other than buildings. We have to understand that what Vastu, what Stapacheveda is about, is the architecture of nature, the architecture of the structures of nature. It can be applied to any architecture, to any structures that we create. Therefore, the texts also apply it to conveyances, which is to say vehicles, both on earth and in the water. Also cities, also nations, also furniture, and also sculpture. Some of the principles of Vastu can be applied to many houses, assuming that a house faces the cardinal directions, that it's not built at an angle to true north, south, east, west. Then there will be great benefit to using only north or east, preferably east, entrances to come and go from the building. And there are many experiences that people have had of just doing that and seeing some result in quality of life, sometimes by people who didn't believe in it, who may not have even known about it. And so it's very clear. A second thing that we can do is, a principle in Vastu is to have a fence or wall around a house, which again is entered from the east or the north. And anyone can do that. And we've, again, seen experiences where that alone was done and family life improved, or people who were working in the house, contractors, behavior became more life-supporting in very dramatic ways. In my own experience, in a house that I lived in when this knowledge first came to my attention, and it was a south-facing house, with the back door, which was a kitchen door. We closed up the south door. There was someone living in the house who had a chronic disease, which means a disease that medicine doesn't know how to cure. You're just stuck having. And the disease disappeared when we closed up the south door.
What would be your ultimate goal as a Stapachevade?
Reconstruction of the world. There are 6 billion people on this planet, so there are or is a need for about 1 billion units of housing in this world. And it is not true that everybody now has housing. There are many people who, by choice or through poverty, don't have a dwelling, but most people aspire to one. Once we live in a dwelling, it has an influence on us, and what we know from this precious knowledge is that almost everybody lives in a dwelling that has some unfortunate influence on the quality of their life. And so what Maharshi wanted was, once he discovered this and he understood and tested this ancient Vedic knowledge and personally experienced that it is completely transforming, he wanted everybody to have it. And I serve that desire of his. And in my capacity managing fortune-creating buildings, we want to serve the United States. So I want the 300+ million people in the US to be housed in Maharshi Vastu by the conclusion of my career. And my associates in the rest of the world can take care of the rest of the billion houses.
Jonathan Littman's goal to get the entire nation into Stapachevade homes is no small task. But with a vision of bringing greater happiness and prosperity to everyone, who could debate it? I'm Asia Sumter for WSTC Channel 9 News.
Thanks, Asia. We've seen numerous accounts today on TM and Stapachevade and heard about their amazing benefits.
It has been a very positive show, and it's not over yet.
Now we'd like to recap some important points of the broadcast tonight and relate them to the ever-expanding cosmos. TM is an easy technique. Practice 20 minutes twice a day, and Stapachevade is an architecture using principles of Vedic knowledge to allow one to live in accordance with natural law. So what's the big picture?
TM and Stapachevade improves the lives of individuals by living in a way that advances one's own happiness and consciousness. The benefits of both TM and Stapachevade can be felt all over the world. Our topics tonight give insight into bettering all of humankind.
In a world where sometimes we can feel isolated, we hope tonight's program has made you feel more connected to everything around you.
That's it for our special report. Thank you for tuning in to WSTC News.
And remember, we're your station when it's your consciousness. Good night.
Good night.